And speaking of cultural differences, I realized that between China and the U.S., there's a different attitude toward authority and freedom. Like for example.
Tada guys! Hi guys! Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jinan. Well, today I'll be showing us another edition of the TMI series. Okay, living here in China, we all have our different stories, right? So, what's your story? Where are you from? What's your story? And how long have you been in China? Today I'm having another edition on my channel. But before we go into this video, please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Okay, share to everyone out there so they can know, being you in China, how much can you still embrace your culture living in a country like China. Alright guys, so without further ado, let's go into the video and let's see. Hey lovelies, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jinan. You're welcome to another series of the Living in China. Well, before I go into this video today, please don't forget to subscribe if you're a new subscriber, because this is a content you really want to know about. And if you're a new subscriber, if you're a returning subscriber, what am I saying today, right? If you're a returning subscriber, you know I love you already and you're welcome back. Today I have another guest in my Living in China series. Well, I'm going to describe him. Jesus Christ. Describe him. He is handsome. He's tall, my kind of tall. He is nice. He's actually nice and good. Okay? Hi, what's your name?
My name is EJ.
His name is EJ. And where are you from?
I'm from Detroit, Michigan, USA.
Okay, he's from Detroit, Michigan, USA. So you can see that, right? I already own that. All right. Could you please? Oh, you have kind of a hat here.
Yes,
what's that?
I do. This is a Detroit Red Wings hat, which is one of the symbols of the city. As you can see, this logo. Yeah, it's for our hockey team, our NHL team, Detroit Red Wings. It's a very unique logo, and like I said, it represents the city of Detroit.
I can see you hold this to a very much importance. You really like it, I guess.
Yes, I do. And red is actually one of my favorite colors as well. So.
Okay. So how long have you been in China?
I've been in China for 4 years and, 5 months now. Almost 5 months. I came in September 2017, yeah.
Okay. And what do you do in China?
I'm a student, a master's degree student. I'm studying international trade.
All right. So, basic questions first. What are the things you like about China?
One, the convenience. Everything is so nearby. You don't have to, like in my hometown, you don't have to go far to buy fresh fruits and fresh vegetables. And plus the population allows for next day delivery for a lot of things, or very fast delivery at least. And number two, I would say the prices of things. Everything is a lot cheaper here as compared to the U.S. Food. Yeah, everything. Yeah, especially food. Like you can get a meal for, 12, 13 kwai. A nice meal. Eat and be full, which is $1 and something. I'm not that good at math.
All right. Okay, you talked about food, and obviously I love food, and I would like to ask more about food. Hope you don't mind.
Not at all.
All right, so here in China, you've been here for about 4.5 years. Okay, what food do you think you really like eating here in China?
Well, usually, as I think this is true for most foreigners, we separate Chinese food and foreign food, of course. So Chinese food, I would have to say, I think dumplings actually. It's not, it's something simple, but like I had dumplings back home and I didn't really think much of it. And then I came here and I realized like authentic dumplings versus, frozen dumplings. There's a big difference.
Difference, of course.
Yeah. And when it comes to foreign foods, well, my favorite food of all time is pizza. So,
Yummy.
yeah. And of course...
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Guys!
Yep, Bruce Pizza. Best pizza I've had in China. It is really very, very excellent.
Bruce Pizza?
Right.
I've never really heard of Bruce Pizza. I mean, can you tell us more about Bruce Pizza? Bruce, right?
Yes, Bruce. Let me see. As you can see.
Chocolate?
So, Bruce Pizza, like I said, best pizza I've had so far in China. They use all fresh ingredients. The dough is made fresh every day. And it's not made with a bunch of oil like other pizzas. And like I said, the ingredients are fresh vegetables, fresh meats, everything fresh, and everything made from scratch as well. There's nothing like canned. He makes the sauce and everything from scratch. So, yeah.
Okay. So people watching this, they may want to maybe ask more about Bruce Pizza. Will you be nice enough to give us the contact or something? And by the way, where is it located?
It is located, for those of you who are either in Jinan or familiar with Jinan, it is located on, what is that? Wenhua Donglu.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, if you want to contact them,
there's a scan code here. And guys, I'm gonna put the details on the description box. Okay, just go to my description box, or if you need a special detail for Bruce Pizza, we can just comment on the comment section, and I'm gonna deliver that to you. Okay, thank you so much for introducing the best pizza in Jinan.
Number 1, Bruce. Yeah.
All right, so straight to the next question. What do you think you really cannot take about China? Like, oh no, I can't cope with that.
Good question. I wouldn't say that there's anything that I can't cope with, but I'll say that there are things that annoy me more than other things. I think many people would agree with me. There are some people here who have a frightening lack of exposure to the outside world. And, you just get a lot of ignorant comments. And you get used to it, but some things you can only get so used to, So, yeah, every once in a while I get pretty annoyed at some of the comments and behavior.
Okay, there are most foreigners here in China, or maybe aspiring to come to China, and probably wouldn't have the kind of patience you have to maybe whenever you get annoyed to step out of it or something. Can you please tell maybe people outside there how to manage their anger, maybe when they come across some of these problems? Is it like to abstain from it, or just talk about it, or just don't even show up?
Well, that's a good point when you say talking about it. I think that's the way to deal with a lot of problems, actually. Because if you run into a certain situation and then you try to keep it all inside, sooner or later it'll build up and just burst out. You might have like a bad reaction. But yeah, I mean, I have a friend. We talk about stuff all the time. Like, I don't know, maybe 2 or 3 times a day. If something happens, I'll call him up like, man, you'll never guess what just happened. Like, man, like something happened. Like, I just had to call you and tell you about it. And like I said, I get a lot of comments. Like, people have literally told me when I tell them I'm from the U.S., they'll be like, no, you're not. There's no black people in America.
No way.
And I'm just like, yeah, okay, sure. Yeah.
Okay, that's terrible. Okay, coming to the cultural differences, all right. What do you think China has and the US doesn't have, or what are the cultural differences you can talk about? Maybe stuff you think you really you really are not used to back then in the US, and here in China you have to face them, stuff like that.
Okay. And speaking of cultural differences, I realized that between China and the US, there's a different attitude toward authority and freedom. Like for example, like I'll meet people and they'll tell me, these are people in their 20s. They'll tell me like, I have to be home at a certain time because my parents said so. And yeah, and I'll tell them the story of like when I was in my 20s. I would, because I would be living at home and living in my own place on and off. So at one point I was living at home. I was how old was I? I was maybe like 23 or 24 at the time, and I would leave like, Ma, Dad, like I'm leaving. I'm going to my friend's house, and they'll be like, okay, like when you coming back? Now this would be like maybe on a Sunday. I'll be like, I don't know, like maybe Wednesday.
Oh my
yeah, and they'll be like, all right, we'll see you when you get back. Yeah, and I mean, for me, that was always normal because it's like, I'm 20, I'm 23, 24, like I'm an adult, like how come my parents tell me be home at this time or whatever? And yeah, it's not the same here. Okay, so I went home back in 2019. I visited home, and the first thing I noticed at the airport when I landed was anonymity. Because here,
no way.
Yeah, here as a foreigner, you walk down the street, people stare at you and stuff like that. Like it was just good to be able to sit in the airport and just have nobody walking by like looking at me like this. So yeah, I think that's a pretty big cultural difference. As far as partying and nightlife and stuff I mean, every once in a while I get the urge to, but now I kind of feel like I'm too old to do that now anyway. Yeah. For people watching, I'm older than I look.
Right, he's old, guys.
Well, I wouldn't say old, but I'll say older than I look. But yeah, I mean, here there's just not really a culture around like, actually, and Chinese people have told me this, like for them having fun is kind of like looked down upon, because they're culturally they are hardworking people, So like culturally they're like always supposed to be working or something like that, and like it's like if you have time to have fun, then that's like kind of like a bad thing. Whereas in the US, like we have the philosophy, like you hear it in movies and stuff where people say like work hard, play hard. Where it's like, yeah, you work hard, but then like you have to kind of release some of that stress too. Yeah, have fun. So, I mean, like, and also there's like back home, there's like more of a culture of live music and just nightlife in general that I don't really see here. Not at least not in Jinan. There could be in other cities. I've heard there is more in other cities.
All right. So, you said something in the beginning of the interview that you're a student, and in China, there's a policy of no work as a student. Do you think the policy is nice to you, or do you find it kind of difficult?
I mean, I think most people find it somewhat constraining because, I mean, you need to make money, and you need to have money, in order to live, and it can be a strain on people's families back home if the family always needs to send them money.
That's quite difficult, I guess.
Yes.
Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So what advice, or generally speaking, things you need to tell to all Detroiters out there? What advice would you give them, maybe aspiring to come to China or go abroad as a whole?
Well, I can't speak of going abroad in general because China's, well, So China's not the only country besides the U.S. that I've been to. I've been to Canada as well, but Detroit is literally right across the river from Canada. Okay. Like you cross the river and you're in Canada. Like you go downtown, you can just look across the river and like Canada is like right there. So like when you grow up in Detroit, people ask you like, have you ever been to another country? But then I'll be like, but not Canada. You know, that doesn't count. Okay. Because when you go, it's, you know, it's almost the same. So coming to China, I would say try not to have any expectations, because when you have expectations of how things should or shouldn't be, then that's when you'll get let down. I would say just try to experience it and just take everything as it is.
Try not to have expectations. That's deep and nice. Okay.
You know, I hate to say that I got my impressions of China from like movies and stuff like that, but I mean, it's true. You know, that was really the only interaction I had with China. And no, not the only interaction. I knew Chinese. I met Chinese people, and I knew Chinese people back home. And I now realize that usually people who leave their countries and go to other countries are usually some of the most, I would say, open people. So I based my perception of all Chinese people on those people I met in the U.S. And I think those people I met were more open-minded than the average Chinese person here. Because when I came here, I would say more worldly in the sense that they knew more about, you know, international affairs and stuff like that, and things outside of China. And when I came here, I just, like I said, I expected people to, and I guess it's my fault really. I expected people to know like more about the U.S. and they didn't. And so, I mean, at times it was kind of, it was, I would say, not infuriating, but I would say, like I said before, kind of annoying. Yeah. So, like I said, I guess that was kind of my fault for having those expectations.
All right. We just talked about going out at midnight. Do you think that's safe enough?
Yes, actually, I would say. Actually, the whole time I've been in China, I've never worried about my safety. Yeah, that I can say. I guess I should have mentioned that under. I guess that's technically a cultural difference. I don't know, but yeah, I've never worried about my safety going out, like whatever time of the day or night, going places or coming back. I've never worried about my safety.
All right. So compared to the U.S., what can you say about that?
Well, actually, I don't worry about my safety in my hometown either. Even though if you look it up, it's one of the most dangerous cities in the U.S. I don't worry about my safety there, but I mean, there are certain places in certain times of night that, you know, you go, you know, where it's like, okay, it's this time of the night and I'm in this area. Yeah, I better not stop at this red light. Yeah.
Okay, so it's quite safer here, and okay, sure, I get it. Thank you so much for sticking around with me today and talking to my guests and my YouTubers and all the children out there. So maybe you have a last word for everyone.
I guess my last word would be to subscribe.
Oh, thank you. Alright guys, you just heard him. Subscribe to my channel because more of this where it came from is coming your way. Bye for now.